The other day, I was talking to a friend of mine whose husband's health had been rapidly deteriorating. A couple of years ago, he was diagnosed with dementia, and subsequently his motor skills degraded due to the onset of Parkinson, both of which were advancing at a fast pace. She was finding it hard to really manage her husband's health, along with caring for son's Down syndrome. While they were financially well off, thanks to his savings from the time spent as an auditor in Kenya, Nairobi, the current state of affairs was draining her physically and emotionally. There was hardly a silver lining visible in these dark clouds. Her predicament reminded me of the story of Harish Rana, who has been in a vegetative state for over 13 years since an accident. His parents and younger brother, Ashish, take turns caring and feeding for Harish. Harish cannot move or speak, and he breathes through a tracheotomy tube and is fed through a gastrostomy tube. He needs help in relieving himself, and Harish's care costs nearly 25,000 rupees a month, including medicines, physiotherapy and nutrition supplements, none of which his family can really afford. And his mom is heartbroken. She says, "I carried him for 9 months. Now I'm saying I want him to be free." A mother should never have to say this. The family has undertaken a legal battle, taking the matter right up to Supreme Court, requesting a passive euthanasia. India has no comprehensive statute governing the end-of-life decisions. In that vacuum, only the courts have been forced to build the safeguards and pass orders. In July of 2024, Ashok did something no parent wants to do. He approached the Delhi High Court seeking permission for euthanasia, and the plea was declined. They continue to fight the legal battle, and in Harish's case, they took the matter to the Supreme Court. The argument they made is the artificial feeding serves as a life-sustaining treatment, and hence they qualify for withdrawal under the passive euthanasia law. The court ordered a medical board to review the situation. Now, the board recorded that the brain function was intact, but totally dependent on external support for feeding, posture, and bodily functions. Now, the court has noted that it is a very sad state of affairs and is likely to take a decision very soon. So we'll have to wait and watch. Now, the topic of passive euthanasia, or praying for a speedy and peaceful end of a loved one, is something we don't really reflect on much till it hits home with a near or dear one. And that by the time it gets too personal and the objectivity goes out of the door. For me, the topic is not merely academic, since it hit home literally some years ago when my dad's health began to crater in a downward spiral. He had been undergoing treatment for advanced stage prostate cancer in his late 70s when he was also diagnosed with Parkinson. That began to advance at a very fast. The stroke paralyzed whatever little mobility he had left, and the doctors then advised us on quote-unquote palliative care for him at home, saying there wasn't much more they could do medically for him. His speech that had been slurry even a few months ago morphed into an inaudible gurgle. He was immobile on the bed, and the caregiver had to take extra steps to ensure he didn't get bed sores, and constant diaper changes and feeding were the new routine, knowing the situation wasn't going to get better. We were seeing him sink gradually day by day. Now, human morality and mores dictate that we do our best to care for our loved ones, which is what we were doing. But we were also silently praying for a speedy and peaceful passing. We often read or hear of stories like Harish's, or news of former superstar or celebrity passing away after quote-unquote prolonged ailment, and I shake my head knowingly. Death is inevitable. Not everyone is fated for a swift and peaceful end, and and such is life.